Hey guys, Anastasia here from Anastasia Does Astrology. Today I'm going to talk to you about Cancer rising. Thank you for stopping by. Please subscribe if you haven't yet, hit like, and let me know what you think about this video in the comments below. I also did a video breaking down the difference between Sun, Moon, and Rising, so you can check that out. And if you're interested to book a reading with me, there's also a link for that in the description below. So let's talk about Cancer rising. What does it mean? What do you guys look like? And what are you like as friends and partners and etc. So Cancer is ruled by the moon. So you are the children of the moon, and moon is traditionally the archetype of the mother. So all of these motherly qualities, nurturing, caring, and giving, are very prominent in your personality. But physically, like moon is very round. So sometimes these people have that tendency to gain weight, especially in the middle. They kind of get rounder from the middle. They have rounder face, usually, also to represent that lunar personality, perhaps wider cheeks, maybe. They have really beautiful eyes, usually. There's kind of like pale and luminous, and that is something that draws other people towards you. Slender arms. So even though the face is a little bit like rounder, their arms and their feet can be really, really small. My best friend is a Cancer rising, and her feet are size 5. So she's tiny already, but like her feet are extra tiny. And they tend to dress in layers, like ponchos and sweaters and jackets, and then slowly take them off one by one as they get acclimated to the space, or once they start to like you. Personality-wise, very intuitive, very like there could be a little bit being reserved at first when they meet you, but then once they start to get to know you better, and you will actually feel so comfortable sharing anything about yourself with them, because they just have that aura of support and understanding and care. But at first they're more reserved, they may hang back, their personality may fluctuate based on their moods and who they're talking to. And like that intuition is really crazy. Sometimes I call my friend and I say hi, and she's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "How do you know? I only said hello." So there's that ability to really pick up on things that are happening in the life of your loved ones. And also just being very sensitive to the space, being sensitive to the energy in the space, like walking in and picking up the signals that other people are putting out. Really good listeners. They can be sometimes moody, because Cancer is that like lunar ruled sign, and sometimes their moods can change, and they can also be a little bit passive aggressive, or complain about things in life, hoping to be reassured, not directly asking for reassurance. I think to me the biggest quality here is just other people feel so easily drawn to you guys and feel so comfortable and able to tell you their secrets and know that you will not go and like share that information with someone else. Very much mother archetype, very much like you feel like they will take care of you, you feel like they will protect you, but it's also important for them to get that in return, because what they give to you, they also appreciate when you return it their way. So what if you have your moon in the first house or moon in Cancer? So this is moon in rulership in the first house, so you become even more physically, your body can be very sensitive, like you can easily bruise, for example, and psychologically sensitive. You are even better at picking up all the signals that are coming from other people. You're highly intuitive. You're probably very creative, or you have some kind of creative passion, or you might be supporting the arts. That's another thing with Cancer risings or Cancer suns as well, is that they tend to be very much supporters and protectors of the arts. You, even more so than others, take that motherly role in the group and take care of people. And sometimes, even though Cancer rising on its own can be a little bit like distant and hanging back and not showing the true self right away, if you have the moon in the first house, chances are your emotions are very much written on your face. You're very attached to your home and family. It doesn't mean it's always a happy relationship, but there is usually a strong connection to the parental figure, especially the mother perhaps, and maybe you take after her in your appearance or in your career choices. And you may actually pick a career that is nurturing and career that takes care of other people, that supports other people. If you have your moon in the second house or your moon in the sign of Leo, you find the emotional security which moon represents in the financial security. It may have been your mom who ingrained that in you, that it's really important to be stable and secure, or it may just be your early childhood experiences when you realize that to be safe and happy you really need to have enough. There is a little bit of a fluctuation to finances because moon fluctuates, right? Moon starts with a new moon, then it becomes a crescent, then it keeps growing into the full moon, and then it goes back to the new moon. So your finances might fluctuate. You may be an impulsive buyer. You may surround yourself with things that really make you happy. Like you will invest into things that bring you joy versus something that makes your life easy. So here's the difference between like having Mercury in your second house, for example, and having the moon in your second house. You know, there's also an ability to use money creatively by using your imagination because you are very imaginative. If you have your moon in the third house or in Virgo, so this is moon in its joy, and moon being when it's in its joy means that moon likes familiar things, and third house is your neighborhood, and it's also your siblings and your schedule, your routine. So there is a certain attunement to having the moon in that house because you are very friendly. You're someone who forms very intimate and quick connections with people on your daily route. Say you go get coffee, you're probably right away able to chat them up, and they will feel like they can share with you and they can ask for your advice. And because I'm using whole sign, so in whole sign your moon will be in the third and also in the sign of Virgo. Because it's in the sign of Virgo, other people see you as very helpful and someone who gives great advice. So you may find them asking for your advice a lot of times. You may be more analytical about your emotions because third house rules our communication as well. And you may invest a lot of energy into strengthening your mind, strengthening your communication. And you may find a lot of joy in organizing and sorting through your day and figuring out your agenda. The mother may be very critical in this position and maybe has had issues with health or like weaker immune system. But it does make you someone who like is really closely connected to your siblings, maybe even have a very kind of like sibling-like relationship with the mother where the difference between the caregiver and caretaker blends or like, you know, is washed away a little bit. But a lot of energy put into building a routine, floating through day-to-day life and making connections with people in your life. It's really also great for working at a coffee shop or working at an information booth and some kind of customer service. Being a consultant, translator, healer are possibilities here too. If you have your moon in the fourth house or moon in Libra, you're very home-oriented. You may take after a parent physically. You may represent them very much in your appearance, in your desires. Home is the safety net here. There's a little bit of a downside to it because if you're so attached to your home and your security, you sometimes may feel scared or less inclined to step out of your home and go out there into the world. So make sure to balance those things. Unless other aspects contradict this, there's usually a pleasant home life and pleasant relationship with a mother. And mom is actually someone who makes you feel warm and cozy and happy in your home, and that's part of the reason why you don't necessarily like leaving home. You are someone who's very interested in buying real estate and having your own home, and you may actually find quite a good amount of luck in real estate, buying, selling homes for yourself or doing that professionally. And becoming a parent, starting a family is a really, really big thing for you. If you have your moon in the 5th house or in the sign of Scorpio, so this is the moon in its fall, and there's a little bit of a difficulty here. First of all, your children, your creativity, your education are very important to you, and because it's the moon in Scorpio, most likely you're very interested in learning about occult or tarot or astrology. There could be a lot of ups and downs and a lot of maybe impulsive actions in the romantic sphere, and then you may deal with some traumas and some breakups before you actually settle down. Watch out for the tendency to feel everything too deeply and to hold on to those feelings. I'm a big proponent of feeling things, but when you overdo it, when you get stuck in the negative cycle, that's when you should try and pull yourself out of it. Overall, really, a lot of joy is found in children, a lot of joy is found in creative pursuits, maybe doing creative activities, arts and crafts with children, maybe going to theater. Your style might be a little bit more kind of like dark and intense, because once again, in whole sign, this is Scorpio, and you may be overly protective of your children, which can be a result of your mom being strict or controlling or possessive. So keep an eye out on that, learn from your experiences, and find a healthy boundary between protecting your kids and controlling them. If you have your moon in the 6th house or moon in the sign of Sagittarius, you are very work-oriented. You're very great at encouraging people in your professional environment. You share your philosophical knowledge with them, and you make them feel brighter and happier after you talk to them. There is a natural predisposition to be in a job that deals with healing. Sometimes you see lawyers, but for the most part, it kind of feels like, you know, being a counselor, helping people who maybe have debts or people who aren't healthy and being there for them, holding their hand, if you like. You are very much an animal lover. There might be a need to take extra energy to take care of your health, but you will naturally be more inclined to pay attention to your health and take care of it, and just learn as much as possible about your health. That sometimes might mean that your mom has had a lot of health issues and she had to go through them, and that's part of the reason why you are so focused on your health. You may sometimes change jobs a few times, and you will be called to find joy in day-to-day pursuits, to kind of learn to be present and learn to find joy in washing the dishes versus trying to escape that and go and do something else. If you have your moon in the 7th house or in the sign of Capricorn, you're very relationship oriented, you're very giving and very nurturing, and you expect that from other people, although sometimes it does mean that you will attract someone who will be more practical and reserved, so that desire to find emotional connection is not always fulfilled. But I think ultimately it's calling you to learn to rely on yourself and learn to find peace within. Partnerships of all kinds are important. You're a very generous person. You sometimes bounce your decisions off of other people, be that close friendships or your partner. Sometimes a lot of decisions are made indirectly by talking them out with a partner or getting some kind of feedback from them. And you're also very adaptable. You're really good at understanding what people want and changing your personality to fit their needs. If you are a Cancer rising with a moon in the 8th house or moon in the sign of Aquarius, you are talented in helping people deal with challenging events. You're someone who's been through a lot of traumatic events, most likely, and there could have been tough things with your mom, like maybe her not being there, maybe her missing part of your part of your childhood, part of your life. But this is something that taught you to use that experience and use that to help and heal others. If you're not, you may be naturally really good at helping other people deal with their financial issues, or maybe really good at research. Maybe your intuition is extremely strong and you can become a teacher of tarot or a teacher of occult. But as much as you can lean into research, be that scientific or esoteric research, I think you will find a lot of joy. There might be fears. 8th house is the house of fears. It's the house of death. So you may sometimes feel more fearful of things happening into your life suddenly, which is something you already have a lot of experience with. And try to focus on your strength, and like try to focus on the fact that regardless of who is in your life and what kind of things you have and how much money is in your bank account, those are external factors, and you have you, and the support that you have for yourself and the love that you have for yourself is actually all that matters sometimes. It also means that sometimes your partner's finances may fluctuate. There might be a lot of ups and downs, and you do not only possess great intuition, but sometimes you may be really interested in death and afterlife and have a strange to other people fascination with those topics. If you have the moon in the 9th house or moon in Pisces, 9th house is the house of expansion, of learning, of travel, and moon is connected to childhood. So maybe sometimes as a kid, you have traveled a lot. Maybe your parents, maybe your mom had to move around and you just kind of like followed her. And because of that, you have become someone who loves to travel, who's very interested in other people and other cultures, and you are an internal student. If moon is very happy in the 3rd because it likes the familiar, 9th is the higher learning and expansion, and it's not like a physical place, like a 3rd. This is your neighborhood, right? Like 9th is the knowledge. So the need here is to really find and ground yourself in some kind of spiritual practice or in your philosophy. And you may be seen in the world as like a guru, as a teacher, as a philosopher. And maybe your mom has been someone or is someone who's very philosophical too. You're very interested in the unknown, you're very receptive, and as I mentioned already, very interested in people of foreign cultures and getting to know them. And also constantly questioning the world and the image you have of yourself in it. If you have your moon in the 10th house or moon in Aries, you are someone who's very focused on career. Your emotional need is to reach success, is to climb the ladder, is to achieve a lot. And you tend to form really intimate relationships with people you work with. Sometimes the challenge here is it's hard to differentiate sometimes between like emotional safety and the needs of your job. Like you blend these two so closely together, so much that all of your emotional happiness is tied to work. So maybe, nothing is wrong with that, but like it's good to have a healthy dose of separation, I would say. And you're more than others, and maybe similar to moon in the 6th or moon in the 1st, you're very inclined to have a nurturing and caring career, or a profession that deals with real estate, a job of historian, let's say. There could be a lot of career benefits through women. Maybe you even pursue a career that is the same as your mom's career. And also in this placement, mother tends to be quite a disciplinarian, kind of like very strict in a way, which is part of the reason why I think you try to achieve so much when younger, perhaps trying to impress your mother, and then later on realizing that this is a part of your identity now, and that's how you prove yourself. If you have your moon in the 11th house or moon in Taurus, this is moon and it's an exalted moon, so it's a very happy placement for the moon. You feel like you need to take care of others, and not just 2 or 3 people. There's that need to take care of a larger community. Like you're very concerned with the welfare of others, as well as your friendships. And you may pursue careers that also deal with the public because you have that natural attunement to what the public wants. So, business of baby care or children related, running a restaurant, any kind of like creative career or finance, because it's moon and Taurus, are good possibilities for you. On the negative, you will be too sensitive to what people think of you. And it's also good to have a healthy distance between what they think and who you truly are. But moon is always able to make a nest for oneself. So here it does give you a chance of finding a healthy career, a happy career in the field that you choose. And finally, if you have your moon in Gemini or moon in the 12th house, most likely you are someone who is tightly connected, very connected to foreign lands or foreign journeys. Maybe your mom traveled. There could be early on when you have moon or sun, the planets connected to the mother and father in the 12th house. It does sometimes mean that the parent has those escapist tendencies, and maybe at some point in your childhood they did escape, be that into like drugs or alcohol, or maybe they weren't there for you. So sometimes the challenge with the moon in the 12th house is finding a proper amount and finding time to take care of yourself. You are someone who's very nurturing towards others, especially of their mind, of their intellect, but you may struggle with taking care of yourself or finding time to take care of yourself. Moving is a big part for you. Moving away from home, you can actually achieve a lot of success. You are a natural healer, especially in deep, invisible issues. You have that soft presence about you, and you need to make sure not only that you take good care of yourself, but also that you allow for that time and space to be alone with your thoughts, and find some kind of spiritual meditative practice, and find a life calling that allows you to share that wisdom and those experiences and serve others. This is all I've got. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe to my channel, hit like, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you guys. Bye.